Yeah, no one's ever seen that. It's a one source story with a couple anonymous sources. Hit piece from a very left publication. There's really nothing more to say about that.
He said he was worried that you're not taking your medications. Are you taking your medications, sir?
Again, a hit piece, anonymous source.
Brother hoodie, brother tennis shoes, and brother gym shorts. I tell you, it's all right, Fetterman. We on your side today, brother. We on your side today, I tell you. But Fetterman's health problems weren't a problem to Democrats in the media when they could use him as a prop next to this guy whose health problems they were covering up. Look at that guy he's standing next to. Unbelievable.
And it's just a disgruntled group of people, and there's only one there. So that's the same thing. There's no new news involved for this.
The individual is your former chief of staff who has said that he's concerned about your well-being, which is why he went public. What do you say to someone like him who's concerned about? He says he's concerned about your personal well-being.
It's like, no, he's had a weird grudge, and he has threatened to do this for quite a while. And if you're really concerned about someone, you could say, hey, let's sit down. Can we talk? It's not like going to the media, and that's why somebody that has an agenda. It's like a hit piece.
So you've been public about your struggles with depression, and you had a prescription regimen of drugs to take in the aftermath of your time. Have you been keeping up with that, taking your medication?
I want to. My doctors are like, John is great, and I am on all of the plan that it's always been, and it's incredibly invasive. And why are people talking about anyone's personal medical things? It's that, I think most people would agree that's really, really invasive.
Can you explain what happened?
Unbelievable. Told y'all, when you start free thinking, when you start backing and defending President Trump and rooting for America and rooting for President Trump, oh yeah. Where was this 4 years? Where was this years ago? Y'all walked around a vegetable. Didn't know who was running the country. Unbelievable. I couldn't wait to get into this. God bless them beautiful patriots around the world. Let's jump in.
Want to really see something that said, take a look at what happened.
Hey.
Why this beat so cold?
We will make America proud again. When you try to kill our we will make America wealthy again. And yes, together, we will make America great again.
Boy, oh boy, look who couldn't wait to jump on this hit piece. CNN, the enemy of the people. Well, let me just read some of these out loud. These were some of the patriots were saying. We're going to go anonymous. Fetterman is more coherent now than when he took office. 2 years ago, I was wondering why Fetterman would not drop out, but now I think he's the only Democrat with a brain. How can they tell if Fetterman is having mental issues? They totally missed Biden's. Hey, here we are. Here we are. Senator Fetterman, you must clean house. You are being betrayed by your own staff. Clean house now. They are trying to destroy him because he isn't throwing in his towel in their line. Shame on them. I love how fast they attack their own when they don't fall in line. You just can't make it up, man. We don't got to read anymore. It's a bunch of them, but we could have read more. What a disgrace, man. These Democrats, the left, he didn't fall in line, huh? I told you, when you start, again, we've seen what has taken place these last couple of months, this past election, and how many times Senator John Fetterman has came out, against his own party, calling out the woke crap, and also defending President Trump on a lot of things. and saying that he's rooting for the president, that he's rooting for America. You know, and again, I know how some of y'all feel about John Fetterman. Let me know in the comment section. But he still votes with Democrats. Oh, he does this. I know. But then again, hey, here we are. And he is still speaking a lot on common sense and not even 80-20 issues, 90-10 issues now. You know. So let me know how you feel about Mr. Fetterman. But let's get into this. CNN couldn't wait to jump on this hit piece. We know the fake news media just couldn't wait.
Breaking news coming off Capitol Hill this hour. CNN sitting down exclusively with Senator John Fetterman. He is pushing back on recent questions that
Pennsylvania
about his fitness to serve in office now and into the future. CNN chief congressional correspondent Manu Raju joins us now, and he sat down with the senator just a few moments ago. Manu, tell us what you heard from Senator Fetterman.
He's pushing back at these allegations that were detailed on the record by his former chief of staff, Adam Gentleson, who had raised concerns that John Fetterman, who was public about his battles with depression last year, who had checked himself into Walter Reed Hospital for 6 weeks, was no longer following the medical regimen that was laid out by his doctors in the aftermath of his treatment for clinical depression. And when I asked him about the concerns about erratic and reckless behavior detailed in that New York Magazine story, he pushed back.
And it's just a disgruntled group of people, and there's only one there. So that's the same thing. There's no new news involved for this.
The individual is a former chief of staff who has said that he's concerned about your well-being, which is why he went public. What do you say to someone like him who's concerned about? He says he's concerned about your personal well-being.
It's like no,
y'all should have been concerned about a whole lot of other people. Y'all should have been concerned about the previous president. I'm just saying. They say, Rick, sir, the video just started, sir. Don't do all this pausing and talking, sir. Calm down, Rick. Your blood pressure, your cholesterol, sir. Calm down, Rick. We already know. Play the video, sir.
And he has threatened to do this for quite a while. And if you're really concerned about someone, you could say, hey, let's sit down. Can we talk? It's not like going to the media, and that's why somebody that has an agenda. It's like a hit piece.
So you've been public about your struggles with depression, and you had a prescription regimen of drugs to take in the aftermath of your time. Have you been keeping up with that, taking your medication?
I want to. My doctors are like, John is great, and I am on all of the plan that it's always been, and it's incredibly invasive. And why are people talking about anyone's personal medical things? It's that, I think most people would agree that's really, really invasive.
Can you explain what happened with those driving incidents? There was a reckless driving incident last year, and there was something in the concern in the article about you driving, getting behind the wheel.
No, it's like there's no news. There's no news on those things. It was an accident.
You fully plan to serve your full term here in the Senate?
Come on, of course. That's obviously. Everybody understands I was treated for depression.
He wouldn't say if he would run for re-election.
John, look, he ready to kick out CNN out the room. Get out my office. Unbelievable, man. When you don't fall in line, huh, Democrats? When they don't fall in line, huh? What a disgrace, man.
2028 said it's too early for that. He is, though, Casey, getting support from Democrats and Republican senators alike here on the Hill. But when I put the question about the Fetterman had raised and criticism to his former chief of staff, Adam Gentleson, he told me, quote, I stand by what I said, and I hope he gets the help he needs. Casey.
All right. Manu, stick around. We're going to open this conversation up to the panel. And Xochitl Hinojosa, let me put this to you as the Democrat at the table, only because, John Fetterman was considered a rising star in the party. He won, the Senate race in Pennsylvania with a profile that was in some ways very Trumpian, but on the left side, right? I mean, I spent a lot of time covering him before this happened. I think anyone who knew him before and knows him now knows that he's a different man. This has been a really difficult situation. What do you think is the right thing for Senator Fetterman to be doing right now?
To take care of himself. I think that anyone suffering depression in any instance, it's hard to keep up with school, keep up with a job, to be U.S. Senator and suffer from depression. I can only imagine what him and his family are going through.
And we send our love and prayers to Senator Fetterman and his family, man. Again, because at the end of the day, no matter all of this report, no matter what comes out, no matter how much they don't put out what's really going on, how much they come out and lie, how the fake news goes about this, you really never know what somebody is going through behind the scenes, man. So we still want to send our love, our prayers out to Fetterman and his family, you know. But again, we all know what this is about, you know. And I'm just trying to figure out why wasn't anybody concerned years ago? There's a whole lot of other people you need to be concerned about. Hey.
No, Adam Gentleson. I served with him in the Senate. We were friends, and he is someone who, you know, serves his principles and is loyal. And he's only sounding the alarm because he believes that the public needs to know that there is something there, that he's doing a disservice not only to his constituents but to himself. And I think he fears for his well-being. And so this entire reporting is extremely devastating, but I think that he really needs to think about what is best for him and his family at this point.
Yeah, I do think it is worth noting, you know, Adam Gentleson worked for many years for our viewers who may not understand how this works. He's been in the Capitol Hill ecosystem for a long, long time. He worked for Senator Harry Reid when he was the majority leader in the Senate. He is someone who usually is very discreet. Congressman, were you surprised that this came out in public? And
yeah.
what do you think it says?
Look, I was surprised. I've become friends with John Fetterman, and I'll tell you, the public John Fetterman I knew before I met him, you know, he had all the, well, this is the guy that doesn't wear a suit and everything else. As I've gotten to know him.
No, we call him brother hoodie, brother tennis shoes, brother gym shorts. Yes, indeed. Oh, Adam. Oh.
One of the most genuine people I've ever met. And I mean that. Like, there is no politician-ness in him. And I think he wears his emotions on his sleeve, right? And so any of us, when I was in Congress, there were days I didn't want to go meet with people. I would have wanted to just sit at my desk. But I, didn't wear my emotions as much on my sleeves. I think he's so genuine. Any decision to leave the Senate, any decision on the treatment for depression, it's his decision. He's been very open about it as well. I think this was kind of an unfair attack on him. Now, granted, when you're a public figure, you're a public figure. Everything's kind of fair game. But I'll tell you, the John Fetterman I know is somebody that just, you're really not going to meet a more genuine person. And the thing I worry about is that this is an attack against him because he's been so outspoken against, for instance, some of the protests and things like that, and he's ticked off a lot of Dems. I don't know if that's true or not, but I'm just saying I hope that's the case.
He certainly did.
Adam just said it. Say it louder, Adam. Say it louder for the people in the back.
Have some staff in his office who were angry about that, and there was turnover because of that. I'm not sure that Adam is in that category. What do you think, Kristen?
Yeah, I also wonder to what extent this is all happening in the backdrop of this real reckoning within the Democratic Party about the extent to which President Joe Biden, when he was president, was his condition a challenge, and was that being concealed from the public? And I think as Democrats go through this very public reckoning about what did we know and when did we know it and when should that have been exposed, I do think that is now leading to follow-on stories perhaps about others.
What do you think is the bar, Mark, for any politician's ability, what do they owe the people that they represent in terms of being truthful about their own capacity?
I don't think there's much privacy once you're a public official, but I agree with Kristen. I feel like for John Fetterman, he's been pretty open about his challenges in mental health. He's been transparent with his constituents. I think it's a much bigger danger, the mental decline that was covered up in the last administration, and as well, candidly, in some members in the House and the Senate who have stayed in those positions long past a healthy perspective in their age in which they can no longer function. And that's sort of covered up many times. This has been far more transparent than many of those issues that we still face in the House and Senate.
Yeah, really interesting. Manu Raju, you said, you noted that he's gotten a lot of support from both. Feels like he is a man alone, like he is standing alone, especially in the Democratic Party. And I'm not saying that in the context of this, this story that came out by Ben Terris that then you spoke to him about, but rather in the context of some of these issues, the government shutdown, for example, where, of course, the party itself really There's huge backlash against Chuck Schumer, and John Fetterman was one of the loudest voices out there saying, this is ridiculous. Why would we shut the government down? Very much at odds with the base of the party. I mean, how much do you think these two things are interacting?
Yeah, I mean, look, during that time of the government shutdown fight, John Fetterman stopped going to the Democratic lunches. He had been sort of on an island, as you say, on that issue. He was publicly out there calling against a shutdown. That was before Chuck Schumer ultimately aligned with him on that case, and he grew very frustrated with his party. He's been also frustrated with his party on issues involving Israel as well, and that came up in our interview when I talked to him about that. There have been some allegations that perhaps some of his behavior was tied to that, tied to his positions, such as on Israel. He said that there's absolutely nothing to do with that at all. But there's no question about it. He is someone who has staked out a position that is at odds with much of his caucus on some of these key fundamental issues. So when it does come time for him to run for re-election in 2028, assuming that he does, you would probably expect some folks are clamoring to challenge him from the left in Pennsylvania. Casey.
Well, whether or not they can hang on to a pretty swingy, if not lean red state is another question. But I do take your point about people seeing an opportunity.
Shut up. Nobody cares what you. I'm gonna take your point, lady. You are a disgrace. You are a part of the fake news media. Senator Fetterman, y'all. What do y'all think? Let me know in the comment section. I love you guys, man. And again, y'all be real. Again, when it comes to this, be real in the comment. Be real. Let's have a healthy conversation, but be real with me now. Because we know what this is all about, man. We do. But I love y'all, and I'll catch y'all in the next one, man. Peace and love, family.